Man, was that a close one today. South Carolina comes up just short of pulling off a real, almost near upset of number 2 Auburn on Saturday. The Gamecocks fell 66 to 63 here at Colonial Life Arena on Saturday. And right out of the gates, South Carolina, I thought, played very well in this game overall. They came out of the gates playing really well. They had the lead going into halftime. I thought they were being very physical, aggressive, doing a lot of the little things right. I think today's game kind of started with Colin Murray-Boyles, who had an exceptional performance, very much akin to what we've seen from him over his time at South Carolina. He had 25 points today on 10 of 18 shooting, and he did a really good job of imposing his will, being physical, being strong to the basket. And he's taking on guys like Jonai Broome today, who unfortunately suffered a sprained ankle and did not play for much of this game, and hopefully he'll be okay moving forward, because he's one of the better players in college basketball, one of the better ones to watch from an entertainment standpoint. But matching up against a guy like Broome, who's one of the best out there, Colin really held his own today, did a lot of good, was able to make moves to the basket and finish strong. And that is a real positive, considering, how things went in the previous 2 games. But after halftime, it seemed like Auburn made some really nice adjustments. They played a lot better, held South Carolina to 23 points in that second half, which in a game that was so tight-knit, Auburn really came out firing in the first half, starting out 6 for 6, and then it was similar in the second half, where they got off to a nice run, were able to tie the game, and then the game keeps going back and forth, where no team is really able to take a big lead or anything by any means. But there were a bunch of lead changes, and kind of in the last few minutes, the game was just kind of at a stalling point, where Arden Conyers had hit a big 3-pointer. He had some really nice plays today in his 30 minutes of floor time, the most time he's played by far at South Carolina, finishing with 13 points today. But in those final few minutes, it was kind of just nothing really happening. It was at a standstill, essentially, and it came down to the wire, with South Carolina having a chance to take the lead in the final 10 seconds. Nick Pringle goes to the free throw line, and his free throw shooting's been better this year. It's obviously been statistically better than any season he's had in his college career, but unfortunately for him, he went 0 for 2 at the free throw line in what was a 1-point deficit. And that could have given South Carolina the lead potentially, heck, even tied the game. And the crowd was really fired up in those final seconds as he was taking those free throw shots. A lot of Auburn fans on hand here today at CLA, though it was a good crowd in general. But he misses those free throws. Auburn gets the ball back. South Carolina's forced to foul, and then Auburn goes down to the other side of the floor behind me here and hits 2 clutch free throws to make it a 3-point game and ultimately seal the deal. So, look, it's another loss. South Carolina is now 0-3 in conference play to begin the SEC slate in the 2024-25 season. That alone would make you think, like, oh, man, this team's cooked. They're in a deep hole. Oh, no. But honestly, I mean, just judging off the way they played today, there's a lot of progress that was made. They were in this game till the very end and really gave Auburn everything it had. Like, Auburn's only blemish so far this year is a loss on the road at Duke. Otherwise, the Tigers have been really solid against just about everyone they've played this season. Like, you see the margin of victory they have in these games. It's not really close in many of these cases. But for South Carolina, coming on the road here to Columbia, it was a tough challenge for Auburn, and they really had to give everything they had, with Jonai Broome being out for much of this game with that sprained ankle injury, like I said before. But South Carolina really showed a lot. They were physical. They won the rebound battle, aggressive. You got a lot of good minutes out of different guys with 2 starters down. Benjamin Bosmans-Verdonk had some nice moments in this game. Like I said before, Arden Conyers hit some nice shots. You got Colin Murray-Boyles back on track. This team really isn't that far off from where they want to be. Even Lamont Paris admitted that after the game. Like, obviously, you got to be able to score in the final 5 minutes of the game, because you were held scoreless without a basket or a shot or a point in the final 5 minutes, which ultimately kind of made a big difference in this game. But if you're South Carolina and you're looking for positives right now, you can take a lot of good from this game and move forward with it. And you've got a road trip coming up here where you're going to Vanderbilt on Wednesday and then Oklahoma next Saturday out in Norman. we'll see what happens, but you feel a lot better about where this team is right now, despite even being 0-3 in conference play. Like, it's a long season. You got your tough games out of the way right now, where you had to play the 2 Alabama schools this week, plus Mississippi State. I'm not saying it gets easier from here, but you don't have to play Alabama and Auburn again, maybe until the SEC tournament if you end up playing them there. So that is a positive that you saw a lot of good out of Carolina today, and there'll be a lot more to break down from this game. Be going live for GC Live Sunday Reset sometime tomorrow morning to talk more in depth about this game, share more thoughts. But for right now, that's going to do it. South Carolina suffers a 66-63 loss to number 2 Auburn here on Saturday. The Gamecocks are back in action on Wednesday night out in Nashville to play Vanderbilt. 6 p.m. tip-off on SEC Network. For GamecockCentral.com, I'm Jack Veltri.